Why, hello there! I am fantasy author Dianna Gunn, and today I'd like to ask you a very serious question. Are your goals actually serving you? We are exactly 1 week into 2018, and a lot of you have probably already started working on your 2018 goals. Either you might have started on January 1st itself, or you might have started today. I know a lot of people are just getting back in from vacation. Whether you started on January 1st or you've only started today, you're now diving headfirst into your goals. You're excited to get the new year started off right and excited to burn through as many of those 2018 goals as you can in the month of January. You have all the momentum and excitement that comes with the new year and the idea of new opportunities. Starting the year with this kind of momentum is really great, but I want to encourage you to actually slow down. Maybe even outright stop and check in with yourself and ask, are your goals actually serving you? So to determine whether or not your goals are serving you, I want you to check in with yourself and ask yourself 3 questions. The first question is, do all of your goals lead to your own personalized definition of success? This is something I've talked about briefly before in my video on advice for teen writers. The most essential thing that you can do for yourself is create your own personalized definition of success so that you can always be setting goals that help you get to your ideal life. And I've actually created 3 rating exercises that can help you create your own personalized definition of success. You can find those on my blog. There is a link in the video description below. So if you haven't already created a personalized definition of success for yourself, please stop this video, go do that, and then come back. Did you do it? Yeah? Alright, now that you've got your own personalized definition of success, you can compare that definition of success to your existing list of goals. For each goal on that list, ask yourself, is this goal actively leading me towards my ideal life? If the answer is no, or you can't even come up with an answer for this goal, scrap the goal. It's not helping you, it shouldn't be there, you're wasting your time and your energy on it when you could be doing things that are actively going to lead you to the life you want. In order to do this properly, you might actually have to go further than just creating your own personalized definition of success. If that definition looks pretty different from what you've been working towards already, you might actually have to completely rewrite your list of goals, and you might have to research what the steps to get to that ideal life are. So this can become an extremely long process, but it's worth doing to get you to the life that you truly want in your heart, and it's better to do it now than it is to do it later into the year when you've already spent weeks or months working in the wrong direction. Alright, the second question I would like you to ask yourself is, are you acting out of passion or out of obligation? This is kind of connected to the first one because a lot of the time, if we don't have our own personalized definition of success, we end up working towards society's definition of success or our parents' definition of success, and usually it just involves working towards earning a lot of money, and we don't end up actually doing what we love or enjoy. But sometimes you can be doing something out of obligation because you think it will actually lead to the ideal life that you want. For example, I hate Instagram, and because my first book is a YA book, my target audience, young adults, is mostly on Instagram. So I felt obligated to be there, and for about 6 months I really tried to do Instagram and to do at least 1 picture every day and to make it work for me. But to be honest, I hated it. It was a huge time suck. My phone camera is kind of crap, and I don't really go out much, so there wasn't a lot for me to photograph, and all the books I read are ebooks, and Bookstagram is not really friendly to ebook covers, so all in all, Instagram just turned out to be terrible for me. And in the end, I gave it up because, yes, Instagram is one way to connect with young adults, and it is one of the most effective ways to connect with young adults. It is a huge growing platform, but it's not essential. There are alternatives. There is almost always an alternative route to the place you want to be in life that doesn't involve you doing these things that you're only doing out of a sense of obligation. every once in a while that might not be true because you might have to, take a crappy school course that you hate in order to round out your full degree or something. But when it comes to pursuing a creative career, there is always an alternative to the thing that you're only doing out of obligation, something that you can find that you'll be passionate about. That's why I am doing this YouTube thing now, and I really enjoy it. And I've given up Instagram because that's not where I want to be. This is where I want to be. The thing I want you to keep in mind when you're looking at this question is something that's talked about on one of my favorite YouTube shows, the Ariel Show, all the time. And that is that pursuing your goals should light you up. Working towards your ideal dream should light a fire in your soul. Everything you do, or at least almost everything you do to make that happen, should be something you enjoy doing, something you actively want to do. And yes, no matter how much you want to do something, there will always be hard days. There are days when I hate my books and I don't want to look at them. And I've talked about that extensively before, but it still lights me up to think that I have this book happening and I am making it happen even when it sucks. That still lights me up, which means I know that it's worth keeping writing, that it is worth continuing that book. Your goals should make you feel the same way. Question number 3. Are your goals measurable and achievable? This question probably doesn't excite you or light you up in the same way the other two do. That's fine, it's the same for me. But this question is still incredibly important, and I think it's especially important to check in with ourselves and take stock of that when it comes to goals for the new year. Because I think when we're sitting down in December and we're looking at the year ahead, we're like, that's 12 months, that is a whack load of time. And in a way it is, but when we actually then live that year, it feels like a lot less time than it looks like on paper. So we end up setting really crazy goals at the beginning of the year, and I am particularly bad about this. Every year I overestimate how much I can get done in a week, and then I get to some point in January and I have to sit down and be like, okay, I've only accomplished half my January goals because I set something insane up for myself, and I simply cannot do that much work in a week. Overestimating the amount of work that I can get done in a week and then basing my goals on this overestimation seriously hurt me. It sets me up for failure, and if I work towards those goals for 6 or 7 months and then I fail, that sets me up for a depressive episode because I do struggle with pretty severe depression, and it all spirals downward from there, and I can end up putting myself in a rut for months. So it is really important to check in and reevaluate those goals right away if I start to notice that I'm falling behind, and figure out if I'm falling behind because my goals were unrealistic in the first place. The other problem people tend to have specifically with goals they make for New Year's is that they tend to be nebulous, and this is particularly true for anything that's labeled a New Year's resolution. It'll be something like, oh, I want to do more art, or I want to lose weight, but it won't actually be specific enough for you to then break it down into bite-sized chunks and track your progress and celebrate your small successes and stay inspired to keep going along the way. And goals like this, goals that either can't be measured or outright cannot be achieved, often don't need to be scrapped entirely. They need to be altered to either be specific and measurable or to be something that can actually fit within the framework of your overall life. I've already reframed one of my goals because it didn't leave me any time for sick days, which I had a couple of at the beginning of this year. If you can hear it, my throat's still kind of scratchy. And I had set a goal to basically edit 70 pages in the past 7 days, which, if I hadn't gotten sick, would have been doable, but because I got sick, was completely impossible. So I've now reframed that goal and given myself the final editing deadline of January 20th. I fully expect to be able to finish editing that manuscript, Moonshadow's Guardian, by the end of this week, but I'm giving myself some extra leeway in case my cold gets worse again, or in case something else happens and I'm taken out for a couple days and I don't have time to get to it. The other thing you need to remember is that a goal schedule that doesn't leave any breathing room for illness or unexpected circumstances also doesn't leave any room for unexpected opportunities, and you want to leave yourself open to great new things that can enter your life. So those are the 3 questions that I use to check in with myself on a regular basis and make sure that my goals are still serving me. I tend to do this once a month or maybe once every 2 weeks. Sometimes I have to do it twice in the same week. As I mentioned, I've already had to do it this year. Do it as often as you need to, but especially please sometime in this first month of the year, take a moment to stop, breathe, check in with yourself, answer these questions, and really figure out, and maybe let me know in the comments section below, are your goals actually serving you? Thank you for watching this video. I've got a lot of really exciting content planned in the next few weeks to talk about motivation and comparisonitis, and a really exciting collaboration right here on YouTube with a bunch of other authors. So if you want to see more amazing content like that, please do click the subscribe button below, and then get back to writing.